How we doing, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Getting Jiggy With It. I'm Will, and today we're going to do my top 25 most anticipated, I guess, crowdfunding games that we backed last year, or well, I'm going to have a little list of ones I backed the year before that should arrive this year, plus a couple honorable mentions of some reprints. So that said, we're going to go ahead and get into the first game, give you a little brief overview and why it caught my eye, and then, well, I guess we'll keep going till we get to number one. Yeah, that's how this works. So this first batch is my 5 honorable mentions. So number 5 is Divinus. It has been pushed back a couple times. I think it was supposed to deliver last year, but they're really trying to make sure that the story and everything works. This is by Lucky Duck Games. It's supposed to be based on a similar system. No, this one isn't the similar system to... So yeah, this isn't the similar. I was thinking it was a similar system to Destiny's, but this one's actually a little bit different. What this is more of a legacy game that's going to involve you controlling different types of Greek gods and things like that. There's miniatures. I think the miniatures are about the same size as Divinity or Destiny's. I think that's why I was comparing the two, because I think it does come with tiny miniatures. But as you're playing the game, let's see if I got a thing, you're going to be building out a tile grid, and depending how you place that grid or depending on the different actions you take, you're going to be able to upgrade those tiles to benefit you and your god while you're trying to go up against your opponent. I thought I did the chest of plenty. Yeah, I got a $5 discount. I was like, wait a minute, why does that math not work? But yeah, so I did get the chest of plenty. I did not do this one here because I think this came with like play mats and some of that stuff, which I like, but I don't like at the same time. I'm not going to spend money if they don't come in the all-in pledge, depending on the price difference. But definitely excited to get into this one. It was rated pretty good by like Board Game Co, Quackalope, stuff like that were covering it. I like legacy games. If you look at our top 25 videos, you'll see that legacy games, story games, things like that are definitely right up my alley. So definitely excited for this one to finally arrive, even though it was a little bit delayed. So number 4 from last year's campaigns is a CMON campaign. Big surprise. I backed most of the CMON campaigns, and I backed the big ones with all the stuff. This is Masters of the Universe. There were 2 versions that came out. One was Europe exclusive. This one was everywhere but Europe. And of course, CMON, big minis, lots of things. There are multiple ways that you can play this game. It is a hex-based grid combat system. You can do co-op where you're playing against an AI. You can play versus. You can play 1 versus many. There's a tower defense mode, so lots of different things. This one's nostalgia. More than anything, you know, CMON is very good about hitting those nostalgia points. And this, of course, is He-Man. Loved He-Man growing up, had the He-Man toys. So you can see there's tons of heroic warriors, different things, people riding on mounts, evil minions. In normal CMON fashion, you're going to have tons and tons of minis, tons and tons of components, a huge Castle Grayskull, which, of course, got to paint up and get that. Of course, we did do the... I wasn't doing the gameplay LN. I was doing the 110. I was just going to pick and choose. I think in the end, I am doing the gameplay all in because the cost difference between getting the castle and not getting the castle, even though I'm not going to play the assault on Castle Grayskull expansion, it just wasn't worth it not to, because I think the shipping made it just a couple dollars difference once the shipping was added. Unlike Undead or Alive, where I did pick and choose and I didn't pick up some of the expansions, and now I'm kind of kicking myself for not picking up those expansions. But yeah, definitely looking forward to getting this to the table. Getting the minis painted, love painting minis, and of course we're going to probably play a co-op. We might play the versus mode. We have started getting a little bit more into the combat versus games, so that's definitely something a mode we'll probably check out. So going to another game that is a year, 2 years ago, is a honorable mention, Primal the Awakening. Really excited for this one. When I backed this, I was not aware if I would like boss battlers, but we did play Townsfolk Tussle. We enjoyed Townsfolk Tussle. This just looks great. This one was the minis. It was all the minis, because when I was backing games like this, I was trying to, let me see if I can get pictures of the minis here. When I was backing games like this, it was either minis, but I still wanted a story. And this didn't feel like it had a story, so I was really on the fence until the very end. Ended up backing this one, really excited to get it. King of Average did an unboxing, and the monster miniatures just look outstanding. And I think they said they increased the size of most of them by over 30%. So you're going to have this huge mini with the little tiny guys next to it. But it's just a boss battle. You're going to go through, take on quests, try to beat up the boss, get some supplies, take those supplies, get better gear, go through a boss. And it is a campaign style where you're going to go from boss to boss to boss till you get to the big bad boss. I honestly don't remember who the big bad boss is. I don't think it was Godzilla there. Yeah, I'm not sure who the big bad boss is, but as you can see, lots of beautiful miniatures. Again, gonna love painting them, and we're gonna enjoy getting this one hopefully to the table this year. Number 2 is Bardwood Grove. So this is another Final Frontier Games game. It is set in their world. I forgot what the name of the world is. Five Realms. There we go. I had to look back there at the games. It is another one in the Five Realms games. We've got all the other Five Realms games. It also had a add-on pack for being able to have a bard play inside of Merchant's Cove. If you watch our top 25, you know Merchant's Cove ended up in both of our top 25. We've liked most of the games they've made, so we went ahead and backed this. This one is very similar to most games they do. It's a worker placement. You're going to go out. You're trying to make music. And to get your victory points based on how well you play the songs and how you compose them. I think that's very unique. It does have art by the Micho, whichever way you want to say it. You guys can argue with us in the comments. But yeah, just excited to try another one of their games. We've liked every game we've played by them. So definitely think this will be another one that we will enjoy. And the number 1 game from 2 years ago that we are looking for is Agamonia. Agamonia is a big storybook game. It is app driven. Again, if you watch the top 25, you know most games that I am really into right now are the app driven story games because I don't want to read a book. I don't want to have to flip over pages. But this looks like it's going to be a big, good dungeon crawling fun. Miniatures, of course, different types of monsters and different types of things that you can be able to play as. Let me see if I can find, yeah, you can see all the unlocks with the miniatures, the voice app. So it's going to be voice assisted in the app. So that's always good. Especially helps, keep you thematically involved with the game. The miniatures look great. Always like miniatures. The story point. So you got the map here. This one, I can't remember if it was a storybook game or if it's a single map. I forget how the board worked. But yeah, so the basic game comes with standees, but of course you can get the miniature upgrade. So the whole all in for $149, which is what I did. I didn't do the next pledge level up, which was $159, which included the sleeves and stuff like that. $10 I probably should have gotten for the sleeves, but I didn't. But yeah, so it is just going to be a fun storytelling game. So we're hoping that this one will be something we like, something we can bring to the channel for you guys to see it as well. So these next 2 are reprints. These are both games that were reprinted. Apologize for the phone, but yeah, they were reprinted, so I was able to pick it up on the secondary printing. The first one was just a fun looking game, which is Necromolds. So Necromolds looked fun. I think Quackalope was the only person I ever saw cover it because I think they picked it up in one of the cons, and I got to see it and I was like, that just looks like fun. You get to have a nice fun beat 'em up battler. You get to play with Play-Doh. Your characters, you're limited to the number of guys you can have on your team based on the amount of Play-Doh that you have. And this page is still loading, so I guess we're just going to stay up here at the top. And you put it in a mold, just like you do Play-Doh, and then you battle, and you roll dice, and you attack, and you get to smush them and squish them and stab them. And so the expansion added like weapons, and you get to stab them and different things like that. So it just looks like a lot of fun. I'm a big kid at heart, so I just think it would be fun. We don't, like I said, we don't do a lot of beat 'em up, battle each other type games. This does kind of give you that tabletop game feel where normally you have to buy a whole bunch of miniatures, and this one instead you're making your miniatures with Play-Doh. So I think it's a good way to get into that, have fun, try that style game, while at the same time have the fun of playing with Play-Doh. All right, but that is Necromolds. This one should be up on late pledge soon. It says it's supposed to be delivered this year. I'm guessing it can because they're really not making too much new. So that's why it's on the list. The late pledge, I believe, should be open soon. Right. And then the number 1 game that, of course, from second printing late pledge is going to be Oathsworn Into the Deepwood. Very disappointed we weren't able to get this during the initial campaign. The retailer, I've mentioned in a couple of videos, the retailer that we backed unfortunately was not able to get their copies, so we didn't get our copy. and I guess either the images didn't load or it's just a bunch of videos, but I think most people know what Oathsworn is. Just mentioned Primal, mentioned Townsville Tussle. The boss battlers seem to be fun for us, especially rolling dice and having fun doing that. This is no different, except in the pre-phase, you're actually doing some town things. You're actually going around the town, trying to level up your characters, get more resources. So then when you go out to fight the big bad that you find or are told to go find in the town, you're more equipped to go do that. Then you get to go out and do the boss battle, go back into the town, nurse your wounds, rinse, repeat, have fun. Again, big, great miniatures. Here we go. Customizable. I don't remember if I'm adding that or not. I think right now I'm at the core pledge with the minis. I still haven't decided if I want to add the collectors all in, because it is $150 more to get those movable parts, and I don't think I would ever customize and change the parts. So I think I'm probably sticking at the 225. I might have added the scenery though. So I think I added the scenery because I do like a more immersive experience by having that scenery. And some of the mechanics tell you to like push the bad guy up against something. So if you push them and you do a push back into a tree, they're going to damage them. So it's more thematic to have an actual tree there than a flat token that they could really just go right over. So that is my, I guess, reprint honorable mentions. Number one is Oathsworn. All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and get into my top 10 games that I am looking forward to. Last year I did 25, but because I had all the honorable mentions, I trimmed it down to top 10. Number 10 is Tamashii Chronicles of a Sin. So this is Awakened Realms Lite. This is their smaller version games, meaning they're supposed to be more accessible. We have a lot of Awakened Realms games. I don't think we've played any of them. I've got Great Wall on the way. We have all of Nemesis, all of Aetherfields. Oh, we did play ISS Vanguard. Loved ISS Vanguard. So yeah, we have played an Awakened Realms game, but they are a little bit heavier weight. This is supposed to be a little bit lighter. The way this game works, from what I gather, again, is it's a puzzle. Audrey loves puzzle games. We love miniatures, bright colors. Cyberpunk, I don't know if she likes Cyberpunk. I'm fine with Cyberpunk. But we've played a similar style mechanism with Bullet, is what some people were comparing this to, because you're trying to do a puzzle to be able to accomplish your goals. So I think that'll be fun, trying to figure out that puzzle and then attacking the bosses, moving around a grid. Basically, you jack in. So you have like this is your avatar in this cyber world that you're going into, just like any other Awakens Realm games. Tons of minis, beautiful art, beautiful content. They did do two versions. You get a standee version or the miniature version. Of course, we're going to get the miniature version. I think I did the 154 all in. Why is it $4 more? Oh, because I added the owl expansion. So I'm guessing I must not have gotten the owl for some reason. Yeah, I had to add the owl man for some reason. I must have forgot to follow the campaign. Not sure. I paid $154. I might end up with 2 owl men. Who knows? But that is Tamashii, my number 10. All right, number 8 is Paradox Initiative. Yeah. This is a reprint of another game. I think it was just called Paradox. I was on the fence with this one, but the more I saw it, the more art, the artist that they got to do this is great. You're basically, they've changed it a couple times, but you're basically, I think you're supposed to be mad scientists. You're just scientists. And you're causing paradoxes in the world, and the paradoxes can accidentally destroy planets as you go around doing different things. I think, it's if I remember correctly, it's like a set collection game. You're trying to get certain cards together. There's all the gameplay's in the gameplay videos. I think some of these pages just didn't load. But yeah, you're moving around the map. You're trying to get certain things to activate. If you do certain things, it might accidentally blow up a planet. If I remember correctly, it's like set collection plus victory point based. It looked really cool. I was on the fence because some people weren't liking the original Paradox, but a lot of the stuff that people were saying they didn't like have been smoothed out in this version of the game. And again, like the artists that they chose are just great artists. They each did their own little, you can kind of see here, did their own take on the alien species, and they introduced a whole lot more different alien species into the game through stretch goals, expansions, and so forth. So definitely looking forward to getting Paradox Initiative. All right, so number 8 is Earth Under Siege Flashpoint. This was a relaunch, but it's because they had a snafu during the initial launch. It's not like they failed and came back. They had a snafu. This is a kind of like a stealth game. I blame Alex from Board Game Co. on this one because he spoke highly about this in comparison to things like V Sabotage or V Commandos, what it used to be, Assassin's Creed, which I really wish I could have gotten in on that one. And I'm like, I don't know if we'll like stealth games or not. But he was liking this more than V Sabotage, which I had already backed and, well, it's come in, it's behind me. Again, minis, space station, bad guys. You're trying not to make noise. You're trying not to get caught because it'll raise an alarm and more of the aliens will come in and start attacking you. Beautiful sculpted minis. It seemed like a fun time, good game. So I went in, I got the early bird, and I'll usually back at an early bird to get the early bird, and then usually within the last 3 days, I'll end up canceling. I'm not somebody who forgets to cancel, because I have to actively monitor it, right? Just in case I want to make any content or talk about it, which I don't make Kickstarter content besides these videos. But yeah, so there was a lot of upgrades, a lot of things you can do. I don't know, we gotta get past all these. So you got your different operatives that are going to have different abilities, different enemies. It kind of has like I think it is supposed to be like in a World War II type time, and the aliens are coming back trying to help, I think, the Germans win the war, just so that way they could take over, because I think they know the Germans were weaker in the war, and they're like, well, once we help them win, we can just take them out, or they'll do our bidding. Can't remember. There's probably a story here, and I'm probably completely screwing it up. It is dice combat, which we do like dice combat, versus something like, we don't mind card combat, but I mentioned another video about Gloomhaven and how I didn't like Gloomhaven's card combat. While it was unique, I liked that. I didn't like that was your limiting factor of your game. But yeah, so lots of stuff. Hopefully we like it. Looks like it'll be cool. Again, I did not do the Extinction Pledge. And I do not remember if in the Pledge Manager I added any extras. Because I usually get terrain. I usually get Deluxified tokens. I don't know if I would have gotten the Game Trays player things. Now that I'm looking at it, I kind of want all that. But there we go. That is Earth Under Siege. I'll have an unboxing video when it comes in. You guys can see how it works. Number 7 is Unconscious Mind. This is by Fantasia Games. They were last game we do have, which is Paleo Americans. It's getting rave reviews. This came out and it just looked great. Like the art and the aesthetics is great. The way the gameplay works also seems very unique. I think we're having the same problems where some of the graphics aren't loading, where you're basically going in between your conscious and unconscious mind. There are these overlay cards, kind of like what you get with like Canvas, where it's got the clear cards, and you can overlay those to basically make those states. I think a lot of people said it looked more complex than it was when they played it, but when they played it, they loved the way that the thematics came through, and the gameplay was like very smooth. Oh yeah, game. Okay, so here's the graphics. Nice claspy box. You have your Dream World box. Final scoring, more video. The videos loaded, but none of the pictures did. Well, I guess that's because these aren't actually playing the videos. But yeah, it looked good. The theme seems very interesting. The graphics are just so well done in terms of the art and the graphics that they're using. You know, with the surrealistic when you're in the dream state, and the more, not to say realistic, but more contemporary art graphics when you're in the real world. So definitely looking forward to Unconscious Mind by Fantasia Games. Number 6 is Sleeping Gods Distant Skies. I think I called it something wrong in previous video, but so be it. Sleeping Gods Distant Skies is the sequel to Sleeping Gods. You're in the same universe. However, the games are separate from each other. From my understanding, this one, they have streamlined some of the clunkiness that people didn't like. But the thing is, even regular Sleeping Gods is still highly rated. If you go to BGG, or again, I have a video up on Pub Meeple's People's rating. It was very highly rated there as well. You're basically just going through an adventure. So again, type of games that we like, or I like, and Oddity sometimes likes. You're going through an adventure, you're trying to survive. We just played Stone Saga, which I think probably has similar aspects. You're doing dice checks for survival. You have to feed your crew. You got to level them up. You got to get gear, all the while trying to avoid, I guess, the monsters and the baddies that are out there. Storybook, we love storybook style games. Just it I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it feels like you're reading a story or because it's less player space and the board can be more dynamic. Really love storybook style games. You could have gotten the regular game. You could have also gotten the original game. They also had a new, I think it's their Roll and Write, and they reprinted it. Where's it at? Oh, right here. Yeah. So Sleeping Gods, Primeval Peril. I think it's a smaller version of a game that they made a official printed copy. It used to be a print and play. But we just got the game. I think I just got the base game itself. Yeah, Distant Skies Pledge, 85 bucks. But yeah, definitely looking forward to playing that, bringing that to the channel for you guys. Hopefully you can play at least 1 or 2 campaigns on the channel. It's really hard to play campaign games because they're so long. And unless you can do it regularly enough, people aren't going to stay invested. And we have so many other games we got to play. So if you guys want to see us play some campaign games, subscribe, let us know in the comments. And we may start doing some campaign, like members only streams. That way we can try to knock out some of these campaign games. So that is Sleeping Gods. Number 5 is Through Ice and Snow. So this one here, you're going on an exploration journey, worker placement, I believe, where you are basically taking people out through the Antarctic, trying to explore, find new things. I've gotten 2 other games in this vein, and you can see here where the map kind of uncovers as you go, as you're exploring. We've got Darwin's Journey, which still hasn't delivered, and I'm really looking forward to that. I would have had that on this list, but I think it's like 2 years overdue now. It was on last year's list. And then we did just get Encyclopedia in, so really excited to see how these are different, because they're both supposed to be, or they're all kind of similar in what they're portraying, which is a historical accountment. In the case of Darwin's Journey and Encyclopedia, you're basically writing about the species. This one here, you're going through and exploring the Arctic area and trying to, explore. Fleet token, meeples, minis, normal Euro stuff. Great looking game. It seemed like it was very attractive and going to be a lot of fun. We do like our worker placements, so I think this is something that we will probably enjoy. Weather the storms, event cards, upgrade. Yeah, it just looks fun, looks great. But that is my number 5, Through Ice and Snow. So number 4 is another big minis game. It looks like the video didn't load, so I might have to hit refresh here and start this whole thing over. But it is Harakiri Blades of Honor. This is another game similar to Oathsworn in the aspect that it's got 2 different phases that you're playing. One is on the outward map. Let me see if they've got a picture of the map here. But one, you are outside on just the minis. I mean, you got a commie head with a dude riding on top of it. You got samurais, and it just looks like fun. There you go. Yeah, so you have your regular map, and then this is one phase, and you're going over the map and going through the story. And then when you get to a location, you may have to go into a dungeon. So then these are your double-sided tiles. You go down to the dungeon. Dice combat, cards, play. You got campaign books. You do have that story that's going on. Lots of different expansions, stretch goals. The minis look great. Like this dude's just awesome looking. I mean, if I remember correctly, he's a big miniature, or I guess a maxiture. But yeah, just something that looks really cool. I like Japanese, I like Chinese, I like watching those movies and stuff like that. So this type of game, anytime something is in this theme, I definitely want to check it out, definitely want to try it. I've got, for example, Rising Sun back there, and because it's not made for 2 players, we've never played it. There's a 2-player variant online, but this one, maybe I can get that same thing. I can get that Asian folklore or mythos and be able to play the game. Now, I do know that they kind of did I think some of the stuff is Japanese, some of the stuff is Chinese. Like they kind of did some mixing with one of the expansions. I forget which one it was. The explanation is they're saying, 1, this is a fantasy world, but 2, they came over from the one land to the other and are trying to invade. But yeah, there we go. This is Harakiri That is my number, what did I say that was? Number 4. Okay, number 3 is Earth. Earth is a card tableau building game where you are trying to plant plants and get animals. I think there's animals. You're trying to do earthly things. This one here should be delivering really soon, so really excited for that. Again, beautiful colors, beautiful art that they did. They took, I don't want to say real world images, but like the graphics and the art on this is just mind-blowing what they did. But yeah, it says 178 plant cards, 65 terrain cards, 40 event cards. Okay, so yeah, you're building plants, so there's no animals. There's fauna, island, climate cards, deluxe upgraded components. But what you're trying to do, and I don't know if they have it here, you're trying to build, there you go. You're trying to build up your plants, right? So you're trying to build a little engine, and that's the only thing that's kind of got me scared. I don't know about Audrey, because she's not doing this video with me, but we've struggled to like Ares Expedition Terraforming Mars. I've mentioned that in a couple of videos. We've never played Terraforming Mars. We struggle with engine builders in general, I think, sometimes. And to the same accord, that's why we've not got Ark Nova yet, which is animals, and we like animals. So my hope is this one isn't as, I don't know, as difficult. I don't know how to put it, as unintuitive. I don't know. Basically, I hope these engines build a little bit easier, but that's what you're trying to do. You basically are getting cards to build up your engine, so that way you can then propagate your plants and stuff on your cards that you lay out in your tableau. Again, great art, great presentation. It does have this simultaneous benefits, which I thought was really cool, where if you play something, then everybody else gets to also play something on their turn. So it's not like you're just sitting there doing nothing when it's not your turn. And that's really fun in games. That way everybody stays involved, everybody gets to have fun. But that is my number 3, Earth, which again, hope it gets here pretty soon. I know they say they are starting deliveries now. All right, my number 2 is Tidal Blades, another game that the art alone is the reason she's back it. No. We did play the regular Tidal Blades during this campaign just to see if we like it. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know which one you want to look at it. These play nothing alike. The regular Tidal Blades, you were trying to upgrade your character through doing battles and stuff, and you upgraded your dice, and it was a very cool mechanic in that. This is more of a dungeon crawl. It's got art by Mr. Cuddington, which is him and his wife. Great art, love their art in most of the games that they've done. It's really going to draw you in. Again, it's another one of those storybook. This one's actually neat because it's 2 storybooks, and you kind of lay them back to back, because I think you can get them up to 4 wide depending on the zone that you're going to. It's a dice battler, so it kind of holds to that original Tidal Blade, where you can be able to upgrade your skills. The biggest thing here is I like the Tidal Blades. I like their world that they had. And again, I like stories, so I want to build on that world. I want to learn more about that world. I just got the deluxe board game itself. I didn't get the RPG because we just don't do RPGs. I think it had stories that you could play out, but then it would be me reading the story as the game master and Oddly being the only one playing. That doesn't really work well. This, at least we get to cooperatively play, go through the dungeon, battle some things. And again, anything with nice art is going to keep both of us involved more and want to keep going through the storybook in this case and learn more. But it's just great production quality. Druid Cities does a great production quality on other games. We've got Minions of Mordok, which was with Skybound, and then we've got Wonderland's War, which was with Skybound, but I believe James got his rights back on that. Of course, Tidal Blades, and now Tidal Blades 2 is coming out. So definitely looking forward to getting this one, get the minis painted, get it to the channel, run through some campaigns for you guys, so we can see, well, do we like it? Is it going to end up in our top 25 next year? Don't know, but that is number 2, Tidal Blades. All right, and the number 1 game, the game that I am most looking forward to, is The Dark Quarter. So, don't know if this is a surprise or not. I mean, if you watch our top 25 video, I loved Destinies. I love the app-based games. Now, again, Destinies did not end up in my top 1 or 2, but it was in my top 25 because I like that narrative aspect. I think it's that merger of board games and video games, which is what I had done most of my life, was video games. In The Dark Quarter, it uses that similar Destiny systems. They've teamed up with Lucky Duck Games, and Van Ryder Games. So that way they are going to tell this story of kind of a dark magic and mythos in New Orleans, right? New Orleans, New Orleans. But yeah, so you're the Beaumont agency. You're going to be going through, trying to investigate. So very similar to Destinies. And I backed this before we got to play Destinies. And then I played Destinies and I'm like, I'm definitely thinking I'm going to like this. I did watch the playthrough with Quackalope, and it is mature, 16 plus. I do hope that they do tone down some of the language that in my opinion was put in there just to be vulgar for no other reason than just to be vulgar. Like throwing in extra swear words just to throw in extra swear words. But again, great minis that are going to come with the game. Going to get those painted. Similar, like I said, mechanics and similar contents that you get with Destinies, which is a dice check game. So it's not really a dice battle. Yeah, so you go here. So you have these tracks that you're going to be able to assign and upgrade and downgrade your abilities. So this has like 4 different abilities. And then you're going to roll your dice for a check. And if you end up higher than the pips, then you qualify. You basically succeed that many times and you put that into the app. So like here, if I was doing the green check and I rolled a 10, I'd have 3 successes. But if I rolled a 7, I'd have 2 successes. If I rolled a 5 or a 4, I'd have 1 success, for example, right? So just a neat little mechanic. Being able to go through, very immersive, like I said, because it's in an app. The app is going to handle all the heavy lifting of the story. The only thing is, I imagine, same as this, as I mentioned with Destinies, one of the down thing, there's not much gameplay, like physical gameplay elements, besides your upgrade board and rolling dice. The minis, it's cosmetic. You're putting them on the board just to move them around, because in the app, it shows your mini in that location as well. So I'd say 90% of the game is in the app, and the 10%, which is you rolling dice, is outside the app. I don't care. I still thought Destinies was fun. That's just something to be aware of in this game. All right, there we go, guys. That is my top 10 games that I'm looking forward to delivering that I backed last year. Will they all make it? Will they not make it? I don't know. We might be back in this situation next year like I was with some of the ones that I mentioned that were from last year. Either way, let me know if you backed any of these games on crowdfunding. Are you looking forward to these games or any other games that I might have missed? Maybe I can go late pledge for them so we can get them played on the channel. If you want to watch more content like this, like, subscribe, bell notification, all that YouTube stuff. But until next time, guys, peace.